What is up, fellow collectors? I don't know how to start a video because I've never done one before. You would think after watching so many collection tours that I would have gotten a gist for how to do these things, but apparently not. So because I've never done one before, you guys probably are not well acquainted with who I am. You probably know me mostly from Facebook, where it's my government name, Geraldo Vega, but I don't really go by that. No one calls me that anyway. Most everyone calls me G, but I'm on YouTube as GV_reviews, only because my TikTok is GV_reviews, and that's where I do most of my posting. I do a lot of TV and movie reviews. So you can find me on TikTok at GV_reviews. That's also my YouTube. But again, most of you probably know me from Facebook. I'm just not much of a personality, or at least I don't think I am. I don't really show my face on camera. I have done one live unboxing with like 4 or 5 other individuals a few years back on DCX Open Mic, when a number of collectors, along with myself, got the Sideshow Colossus. But other than that, my voice is pretty much unknown, and as is my face, and my face will remain off camera for this. But I am going to do a collection tour. It's not a room tour because I don't have everything in one room. My primary collection, which you're looking at right now, my X-Men collection, quarter scale, is on the back wall of my living room. And then I have a slowly budding horror collection upstairs, as well as my newest statue, the Prime 1 Godzilla. And then, a couple CGCs and some other things here and there. But yeah, we're going to take you through. I think I mostly wanted to do this because I recognize that in some of these end-of-year room tours, collectors have mentioned using this as a way to kind of catalog changes and in their collection from one year to the next. And I don't get a lot of statues in every year, maybe a handful if I'm lucky. I'm a slow and steady collector, so I don't expect too much changes within the year. But doing it once a year, probably not a bad idea to kind of chronicle what things are like, what changes, and things of the like. So yeah, I'm going to take you guys through. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I will probably just end up rambling, so I will apologize for that in advance. I'm not going to tell you to like or subscribe because I don't know if I'm ever going to post another video. So, don't necessarily waste your time doing all that stuff. We'll see how this goes and we will go from there. So yeah, these are garage shelves. I believe they were Juggernaut brand, 48 inches wide by 24 deep on all 4 of them. I was considering going Magicase, but the price is a bit ridiculous. And so I went this route instead. I did some small customizations, namely, all the boards are doubled up. I am using the wooden shelves that came with the products. I did not get new plywood or anything like that. I may do that in the future, but for the time being, I'm not. But they are doubled up, and then they are wrapped in a microfiber sheet of some kind. And the same with the back. The backing was some kind of wall paneling I got from Lowe's, and it too is wrapped in the same microfiber sheet that the shelves are, and then it's stapled down. So, and then it's just kind of duct taped to the back. I thought about installing some magnetic strips, but haven't gotten there yet. And I'm not sure if this is going to be the final kind of configuration for these shelves or not. But the lighting, I do have LED strips inside channels just along the front rows of both the top and the bottom. They are RGBWs. I used to just have RGBs, but I grew to really dislike the light blue hue that came from the artificial white it had. So, I typically just leave these as white. Occasionally, I might do a light blue or something like that. But there's kind of yellow, I guess. It's not really natural light yellow. It's a real artificial yellow. But again, I tend to just keep it on white so I can see everything clearly. And it does give me a bit of a museum feel, which is kind of what I go for. Which is why I have all of the placards, which I will show when I get closer. But so this takes up the entire back wall of my living room. I do not have a singular collection room, so I can't just give a room tour. This is a collection tour. I do live in a 2-bedroom townhome, and one of the other bedrooms is occupied. So, and I'm not necessarily saying I would even put everything in one room anyway. I kind of like it spread out. I do spend a lot of my time in the living room, so it's nice being able to, see all my pieces, or at least the X-Men pieces. So we'll start. I'll show you what I have. I'll talk a little bit about, why I've chosen to group certain people together, certain characters, and also, kind of what's to come and what I foresee in the future. So this is my first cube, Iceman, Rogue, and Gambit. I have XM Iceman because Sideshow hasn't made a quarter scale one. I do like this one, don't get me wrong. I think the base is a little unsightly, weirdly shaped, extremely heavy. I don't really have much of a yellowing issue, but I know that is still a possibility as time goes on. Let's see if I'll zoom in a little bit. Again, here are my placards. Everyone has a matching placard, at least everyone in the X-Men collection has a matching placard. Somewhat inspired by museums, kind of all the information on the left side. I do have an X logo in the back just to style it up a little bit. I really like a sense of cohesion and consistency, and I have some XM pieces who came with the metal plaques, and I just didn't enjoy that some pieces had something, with the character name on it, and then most others didn't. So I decided just to kind of make them myself and go that route. Have XM Rogue. I had the Sideshow Rogue, non-exclusive. I was a little late on that. It was a nice piece, don't get me wrong. The engineering, super cool. But if I can get by not having mixed media, I'm going to do that. Not a fan. It's just not for me. It's cool. It's just not for me. So having a sculpted jacket, I really liked. And of course, being able to have the more traditional 90s style head sculpt without having to pay a ridiculous amount, though I know that the Sideshow Rogue exclusive hasn't necessarily held up in value as much as it used to. I used to have the switch out, or I guess it was the standard arm that had her pulling out that part of the Sentinel there, but switched it to holding Gambit's card because I think it goes really well right next to Gambit, as though she has just borrowed his powers. Sideshow Gambit, I think, is indescribably impressive. I like the statue, of course, and bought it, but once I got it in hand, I was really impressed with what they offered. The dynamic pose is really cool. The colors pop. And of course, what I really think sets this Gambit apart is the head sculpt, the features, how realistic it looks. It's just fantastic. And to me, that aspect, and the pose, the head sculpt and the pose to me are what led to me choosing this one over the XM Studios one. Underneath that, we have the Sideshow Danger Room couple. I have Sideshow Colossus and then Juggernaut, both the exclusives, of course. They both have placards. Sideshow Colossus, I know that with this and the XM, a lot of people are really impressed with XM and really like it. The motion, the action. I enjoy this statue a lot. And no, I've never seen the XM in person. So, for those that are of the mind that, hey, you have to see it in person to really understand the difference. Well, I'm not going to see every statue ever in person before I make a decision. So I like this one. I like it a lot. I love that it comes with Lockheed. And to me, it has kind of this silent dynamism. Yeah, it's static for the most part, but I can still feel the motion going on with him crushing the mace-like wrecking ball, kind of stepping through that. The arms are positioned as though he's moving forward. So I still feel a lot of motion with that. Again, love Lockheed. Glad it came with it. I don't like him up on the shoulder. I like to kind of keep the characters clean and clear if I can. So put Lockheed down on the base, and I think it goes well with the Juggernaut exclusive proximity piece, Kitty Pryde. I really like this. I thought that I would have a lot more fun with it, kind of moving it around and letting it find different spots in the collection. But I have really learned when it comes to me, I don't want anything moved. I don't even switch things out. I choose whatever switch out, whatever display option I like best, and then it stays. All the other switch out options, you know where they go? Not in tubs, not in foam cutouts. They stay in the box. Juggernaut, impressive, just impressive. I'm really glad I ordered this and got this one in. Super big. It's just a fun piece. And I really think although you can't see it very well, the kind of the split in the base where it transitions from the mansion into the danger room, really nice touch. Again, can't really see it. His body's so big, and there's not really a position in which you're going to put this statue and see all that stuff, but still nice touch regardless. We'll stay down here since I'm already on the bottom shelf, and we have XM Psylocke. I wasn't going to get a Psylocke statue. I didn't have one for the longest time because I am not a completionist in the sense that I want every X-Men statue, in character that is available in a statue. I really do want to have some connection, some joy from the character, and Psylocke was just one I didn't. Until I really got into playing, Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the Switch, whichever one that one is that number 3. And I was playing as Psylocke a lot. And really came to enjoy her in that game, which helped me develop a greater joy from the character. And thus I wanted one. At the time, the new Sideshow one wasn't out, but I wouldn't have gotten it anyway. It doesn't really fit in with kind of the look of my collection. Though when I talk about the future of this collection, I'm going to break that rule anyway. So I do like the face sculpt. Yeah, a little bit emotionless, but the side blade is super, super cool, even though it's maybe a little overkill. Mine came with a blemish on her sash. You can't see it because I did kind of paint over it some. I am not good at doing these touch-ups. I do not have model paint, and I don't have a clear gloss to seal it or anything like that. I just use some regular old craft acrylic just to patch it up to the point that you can't notice, because it was white or whatever the color of unpainted polystone. Well, it's probably more of a PVC. The sash has a lot of flexibility, but it was really easy to tell, especially when the light was shining on it, and now you can't. So I am proud of myself for that. XM Archangel. I bought Archangel because no one has made an angel. I'm not a customs guy. I know that people are probably watching this at some point, and I'm talking about some character, and they're like, oh, but I'm not a customs person. I had the Mac Magneto at one point. There is just a difference in the quality feel of the pieces. At least there was back then. And it's not that I don't like some of the custom statues that I see. Some of them are really, really awesome. But I don't want to say it's even an ethical, moral thing, but I do feel a little wrong ordering custom statues. But I say all that to say I do have one on pre-order. I have ordered a Mr. Sinister. So I will have that coming in at some point in time, because XM royally screwed collectors over with their reveal. All of these, I do plan on having 3 statues, at least. Well, for most of them, it's just going to be 3. I don't like things to feel crowded. So something will come down here, or I'll move some things. I paired these two up because I think their colors go well together. And if I remember correctly, I think there was some sort of romance at some point in some runs of the comics. So I also put them there. For that reason. And then also just logistically, if I needed to move Archangel over or Psylocke over, I believe the way that her base runs would allow for me to kind of get them slightly close together without Archangel's wings kind of getting in the way of the other statue. We have a couple of sideshow ones up top. Again, some placards. You can see the TV in the background with the screensaver. X-Men, very appropriate. Sideshow Mystique exclusive. Love it. Love it. Love the flow of the dress. The base, fantastic. Love the head sculpt and the short hair. I know that not everyone did, but I'm an X-Men Evolution guy. Yes, I grew up and I watched the 90s animated series too, but in the, early 2000s when they came out with X-Men Evolution, that was my jam. And Mystique in that show had a shorter haircut. So this is my Mystique, for the most part. I bought this and then I returned it and then I repurchased it off of another collector later. I returned it initially because, unfortunately, I think there's been a lot of discussion in the past about Sideshow, kind of having two factories, and I'm sure they probably have more than two, but there's always kind of this talk of, did this one go to the good factory or did it go to the bad factory? And Mystique, to me, went to the bad factory. The paint was sloppy. There is some sculpting deficits, I guess, as it's been casted. You can kind of see around the arm. It's a bit rough. And the magnets are kind of weak. It's not going anywhere, but it definitely has some production flaws. But regardless, I absolutely love this Mystique. I am interested and intrigued, though, in Sideshow's newly announced Mystique during 12 Days of Sideshow. I'm sure we won't see that till middle of the year or something. So it's going to be a 2025 release regardless. I'm not saying I'm going to upgrade, but I'm always open to the idea. Sideshow Sabretooth. Sculpted, by Martin Canali. Again, I have all that information right there, so I don't have to remember it. This is, I think this is the most underrated piece I have. The sculpt, the ferocity that it captures in Sabretooth. Face sculpt. Yeah, the snow on the base sucks, but, can't win everything. The only thing I wish, and it's at some point in time, I may start moving towards customizing some of the statues I have. I can't do it. I'd have to pay someone to do it, but I would like the fur around, around his neck and on his back painted lighter, more of an off-white than this cream color. I don't even care about the base. It doesn't have to be retouched. It's fine. Really just that. If I can get that a little lighter so that there's a better differentiation between the fur and his hair, then that would be great. But other than that, this piece is awesome. Anyone ever think about this piece or wonder if it's actually as good as people say? It is. It's pretty awesome. This is the most recent X-Men I picked up, XM Cyclops. I wasn't sure for a long time. So, all right. Back in the day, when XM announced this Cyclops, at the same time, a custom group, again, Mac Studios, I don't know if that was their name. I don't think they're around anymore, so I don't care about saying their name. They put up their own custom Cyclops for pre-order, and I had to, make a decision. I went with the custom one. Well, no, you know what? It was not Mac Cyclops. No, it was Mac Studios Cyclops. And eventually, I don't remember why, I just decided, no, I realized that I really like more modernized takes on costumes. So I decided, no, I want to stick with the XM one. and I ended up selling that pre-order. And then, this one came out, and I just was never in a rush to buy it. Cyclops is a cool character, but he's not really up there for me, so I kind of just waited, and I got a good deal on it, and this is obviously version B. I didn't think I really wrestled with just getting version A for the longest time. It tended to be cheaper, and I didn't think I'd like the second torso, this one. And now clearly you can see it is my choice for the display. Professor X is another one I slept on and I didn't get it. I didn't pre-order him. I got him ways down the road off of eBay. Again, I waited for a good price and I got him, and it is awesome. And so what's going to happen is I'll have Professor X here with 2 X-Men on either side. Storm will probably stay. Cyclops will end up moving. And then over here, this spot right there in the middle, of course, these 2 pieces will move a little bit closer to the edges, will be the new XM Dawn of X Magneto, the one that nobody likes, but I do, so that's all that matters to me. Over here, Cyclops will move and probably join a Jean Grey. I don't have one on order. I do like the XM Jean Grey. I like XM Jean Grey even more now that there is a slightly updated body. It didn't bother me beforehand, but I won't say that it doesn't help its case now. I may end up getting that one. I don't know. But for the time being, my thought is that Cyclops will move and then my Beast statue will go here. I don't have one on order. But that Iron Studios Beast, as much as I don't like the gloves, I hate the gloves. The piece around his chest, it's pretty minimal. I can ignore that. But the gloves, I'm probably going to look past it because the rest of the statue just looks great. Nice concept. It's just different. And it's probably going to go right there. And that's why I was saying earlier in terms of not getting the Sideshow Psylocke with the Force Perspective base, even though I did like it because it didn't really fit. Well, Beast in the Jungle isn't going to fit either. But I am probably going to go that route anyway. I do have the Sideshow Storm. I also like the XM Storm. I don't get super enthralled by the XM Storm like a lot of people do. And like the market seems to think its price is worth, but Sideshows works fine for me. This is not a character I have the strongest affiliation for, so just having her represented is good enough for me. Again, if I could get by without a sculpted cape, I will. Unfortunately, I didn't have that option here, so I probably will never pick up the XM Storm, but I would be interested to see it in person, though. But I do like the silver over the white. Sideshow Sentinel. The Sentinel, for me, is a pivotal X-Men antagonist, and so it was really important for me to have it represented in the collection. I wrestled a lot with getting one of the Iron Studios standalone Sentinels, but I just didn't like that there were so many base elements and some elements on the body that clearly were representative of the Sentinel being attacked. Like the one had a giant hole in its chest because Wolverine would typically be coming through it, and then another one had a big ice shard on its foot from Iceman. So I just wanted something that could stand on its own as a representation. So I got the Sideshow Sentinel. I don't really use light up features, so it does have light up features. Its eyes, and then this hand lights up, but it's not plugged in, and it never will be. So, but really nice. I like it. It's pretty big too. Magic is a bigger quarter scale statue, and Sentinel much bigger than her. So that brings us to Magic. Love the character. Love that I pre-ordered this piece. And I really did do so with the thought of, wow, that ES is kind of low. I may not want to miss out on this. And I do like the character. I especially love the statue's design. just kind of the composition, how it kind of everything is kept neatly in the middle and moving up. So, you know, and now this is one that people tend to try to find. I probably will never sell this one. I love, 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 love this. I like this face. I do prefer the Magic over the Dark Child head sculpt. So, yeah, I do wish the bigger version of the Soul Sword behind her was a little bit more visible. I think it's called the Soul Sword. Was a little bit more visible, but still super cool piece. And again, we'll stay down here. XM Dark Phoenix. Quick story on her. I had the Sideshow Dark Phoenix, the one with the Dog Bowl sub base, and that was a point in my collecting career where I just thought, you know what, I have the character, I'm good. That's all I need. Dark Phoenix is probably my second favorite X-Men villain. It's a beautiful piece, very stunning. And I knew the XM one. I'm trying to remember. I think XM came out after that, or I don't remember. I don't recall. But, you know, XM's pieces at that time were just out of reach for me price-wise. It wasn't something I was willing to pay. And obviously that changed. And once I did that, and I did order this, and I sold the Sideshow one, and I upgraded, that's changed my whole mindset in regards to what I want my collection to truly look like. I don't want to say regardless of price, because I do have my limits, but I do want what I believe is the best representation for me. And I don't necessarily want to cut corners with that. So I can thank Dark Phoenix for that. And you know, my taking that risk and upgrading and realizing, yeah, I shouldn't have ever played with getting what I considered a lesser piece. XM Apocalypse, big boy, very heavy, very awesome. The blue is blue, not really that purple. I do choose to go with this giant cannon blade arm thing, but to be honest, because of the way he's posed and he's on the bottom shelf where I put, you know, the heavier pieces, you can't really see that arm that well, and so I am thinking of switching that one out and using the like the tentacles, because I think that'll be easier to see visually. I keep this arm like this because you know, that is reaching the top, and I want it to kind of remain in the frame and not kind of reach up into where I can't really see it anymore. So base is really nice. The hieroglyphics are a really nice touch, really well done. I love how much they incorporated you know, his Egyptian history into this base. Could do without all the tentacles. I don't really like them, but I'm not going to leave them off. Then we'll come up to the last cube. I love this. I really like this set here, having Nightcrawler and X-23 on the ends, both kind of lunging forward, and then kind of, you know, Wolverine being his Wolverine self in the middle. X-23 is my favorite character of anything, period. Again, I was an X-Men Evolution kid, and seeing X-23, I'm not really sure what it was that attracted me to her and her story, but I have read pretty much everything she has been in. I find her as a more interesting version of Wolverine, and I think there's something about her just being a kid going through all this stuff that is just so much more appealing, whether that's related to my own childhood stuff or what. There's probably some truth in that, but this is... I had a piece of dust there, needed to get off. Really nice piece. Very dynamic. Love the exclusive face with the mask. I would have been pretty upset if it was just the maskless version. But yeah, pairs really well with this Wolverine. I like this Wolverine. Yes, mine does have a little slight lean to it. It has not leaned over time, though. This is what it was like when I got it. I just didn't realize that it had the slight lean till way later. And it's pretty much the back foot has the key and the peg, and there's just a little extra give there. So, but no, really nice. Love the pose. This is one that I wouldn't mind upgrading at some point. I don't care not having the companion piece for X-23, but just having a Wolverine here. I really like XM's brown Wolverine. The brown suit isn't my ideal suit, though, and also it's a little big, and again, the base doesn't really fit. I think it would really stand out in not the best way, so I do prefer a yellow suit. I do like the Astonishing X-Men suit. That is, again, my preferred suit. So if there's another one that ever comes out, I would probably think about it. Sideshow Nightcrawler. I just love the motion of this piece. The colors pop, yes, but the motion is what sold me on this. I was also really unsure. I did have the XM Nightcrawler on pre-order. I started really having some doubts about the engineering of that piece. I was trying to get some answers about what that might look like because of the prototype just having the foot attach into the top of the Sentinel finger. Obviously now, seeing it in collectors' hands, they did a good job, and it looks much more secure. I just don't know if I like the motion of that piece. I'm sure it looks really cool, having the separate BAMFs and the that effect in the middle of kind of creating the sense of motion and the space in between. But seeing his foot on the Sentinel finger just takes me out of it. This one, his feet are only on the smoke, so I feel like this gives off a better illusion of movement. Now, that seam right there, abysmal. But you know what? I don't really pay attention and I never really notice it. So, I know I've talked a little bit about the future, but zoom this out a little bit. Rogue and Gambit, of course, will stay together. Iceman can move around. Colossus and Juggernaut, I would make space for another piece to kind of go behind Kitty Pryde. I'm not sure what that would be. Magneto's going to go there with Mystique and Sabretooth. Again, there's room down there for something. This cube can be a lot of things. None of these necessarily go together. So that allows me some variability. This, again, will stay mostly the same, other than Cyclops will probably end up moved. And then that cube probably won't change too much. And then I will also separate those a little bit and have space for something else. So again, what I have coming in is the XM Dawn of X Magneto. I have the custom Mr. Sinister on order. And then that's it for X-Men. So what I'm looking to add at some point will probably be an Emma Frost. I don't particularly like sideshows, and I don't think XM's is worth the price that people ask for it, nor do I think it necessarily will fit best in my collection. Nice sculpt though, but maybe not. If I had to choose one, I would try to get the XM Emma Frost, but I am absolutely okay being patient and waiting for something that better fits my fancy. XM Jean Grey, I will likely end up picking up. I may upgrade the Mystique if Sideshow's new one is good. And then a Beast, probably Iron Studios. And then that's kind of it for the X-Men. I have also wrestled with the idea of shaving my X-Men collection down. It wouldn't be anytime soon. I'd like to get it completed before I start selling things. But I was thinking about shaving it down to maybe just 3 of these cubes, or 3 of these shelves, and then have a shelf for something different and new. And I say that because I just got a new statue in, and I'll show you that one in a little bit. And it just really made me think, man, what else am I missing out on by primarily just having a collection of one set of characters. So, but yeah, so those are the X-Men. I will end up taking you guys upstairs for another part. So at the top of the stairs, I have a Detolf. I don't really know what I ever intended to use the Detolf for. I did have a thought that if I wasn't going to do a full horror collection and I just wanted Michael Myers and Ghostface, that I may put, do the secure the shelves and put one on top and one on bottom, but that has since changed. Right now, I just have some CGC comics in it. I have first full appearance of Gambit, even though I know that is contested, in a 9.6. I got that from New York Comic Con one year. I have X-Men 4, first appearance of Omega Red, 9.8. I won that in a contest. And then I have first appearance of Phoenix, 7.0. I actually bought this raw and got it graded. It's the only comic I have that I sent out to get graded a few years back. And then up top, I just have a couple of small little NECA horror figures. And then this 3D printed evil pumpkin thing. I know people have seen this one before. I also won this in a contest and I chose to not paint it. I kind of like the effect it has when light shines through it. This I put up here for fall and Halloween, and then it just stayed for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And now it's about to be New Year's, but I have, I'll probably put something else in here. This will go back in. I know that it's technically like a statue, but I treat it as a Halloween decoration, so it stays with the Halloween stuff. But I don't know really what I want to do with this. I'm going to have to put more stuff in here, and I'll show you why when we get to where the horror collection is. But yeah, so just some CGC comics. I don't care to keep these. I will sell these at some point in time. I will look to move these. I only care to have one graded comic, and that is NYX3, first appearance of X-23 in comics. So at some point, I'll try to move those. All right, so now we have my old Besta units. When I first got into collecting, I kind of followed suit with what a lot of other collectors were doing and purchasing things from IKEA. But I have kept these two. I have thrown out or gotten rid of in some way all the rest of the Besta cabinets I had, but I did keep these, and these are going to be used for the horror collection. These are also RGBs. I really like the opportunity to change colors and kind of set the mood. But right now I do have, I'll get a little bit closer on these in a minute, but I do have PCS's quarter scale Ghostface and Michael Myers, and I have the new Leatherface from the, was it 2003? Whenever the recent remake was, or not the recent remake, but the remake, I guess as it's considered. I do have that one on pre-order, and I may look to chase down the old Sideshow Freddy and Jason, because I know that the Friday the 13th license has always been a bit complicated, hence why there have been no movies, new movies in, God, how long now? Almost over a decade. And I don't know if PCS will do a Freddy Krueger or not. So I'm patient. I will absolutely wait to see what comes. But as of right now, those would be my best options. So this is over in kind of the office-y side of this bedroom. I also have the Sideshow X-23 print over there. PCS Michael Myers. I did order this one, or I didn't order it, but I purchased it off of another collector. Great condition. I think the only thing with this, it did not come with the COA, which I'm fine with because we know I'm not going to display it because I'm going to have a placard. So really neat statue. In comparing it with the Ghostface, PCS has definitely maybe not with the base, because the Michael Myers base is fantastic. But in terms of some other things, PCS really stepped up their game with the Ghostface. I do think it is better quality overall. It is very heavy, a lot heavier than Michael, it feels like. And I think the biggest differentiation for me is the weapon. So the Michael Myers knife looks pretty plasticky. And so, the blood looks like painted on blood. It's cool. But the Ghostface, the knife is, I don't know if it was metal. It kind of feels a little cool to the touch, but it is. It definitely has that metal sheen to it. And so the blood on it looks more like blood, rather than just kind of painted on splatter. So I did get the deluxe. I did want the masks just as options, but really I wanted the base. That's really what it was all about, the bloody base. I do like that it has the handprints and it has some trail marks as though someone was drug away. So really nice. I think it looks really cool. I know it looks bright on camera, but it is a bit darker in person. I do not like the exclusive, or I guess there's 4 exclusive portraits, but I don't like this, the bloody portrait. It just looks unnatural. I wish that it was just like a paint splatter, as if you put, paint on the end of a paintbrush and flicked it. This looks like it's draining blood, just not very appealing for me. So I already intended just to use the traditional mask, and have done so, but I'll be honest, this silver metallic mask, this would be my second choice. It's pretty badass and it looks really cool. Really nice effect. And then the other 2, they just exist. And then going down, I have just some random things. So my plan for this entire Besta unit is to clean it up. Just kind of like the X-Men collection downstairs. I like something that looks clean. And right now this is not clean. What I plan to do is install 2 drawers in the bottom and put all of my books within those drawers. And then I will have the 4 shelves up here for, at least 4 horror statues, but, they have small enough footprints that I can put 2 in a cube and not feel like it's too cluttered. So I have room for 8, but definitely want to get the books cleaned up and in drawers. I have another CGC, Nice House on the Lake, 9.8. This was like my play attempt at specking. I'm very bad at it. I don't like spending a bunch of money. I did not want to buy the variants. I did like the story though, so I'm okay having the book. And I got it really cheap, but I do have that. Again, I'll probably try to sell all of my CGCs at some point in time, just so I can get a Nyx 3 and then leave it at that. Little Jeepers Creepers Funko Pop. Huge horror fan. The horror collection is not just because I think the characters are cool. I grew up on horror. The first movie I can remember watching is Halloween. So, that was my childhood. So I've always loved horror. I used to write for I don't even know what to call it. I used to write for an online magazine doing movie and TV reviews, and then I wrote for, very briefly, this is not a humble brag at all, it's just fact. I used to write for a horror outlet too, doing movie and TV reviews. And now I just do it all on TikTok. And I'm probably going to try and branch out onto YouTube. I'm not sure. But, so yeah, horror, big part of my life. I watch too many horror movies every year. And it just remains my favorite genre. There's always something interesting and different. X-23 #1 from her first self-titled series. I got that in a 9.4. I don't know why I picked this up or when I picked this up, but I know I have it. A friend of mine got the unmasked X-23 Diamond Gallery statue. Pretty nice. You can see it's still in the box. That's how you can differentiate some collectors. I kept the damn thing in the box, and I don't know why. It's not worth anything more than what it cost. And then I got this. I think someone was getting rid of a bunch of them and was just asking for shipping. So I thought, why not? It's pretty neat. I know that some collectors want these in their displays for every character. I think it just pulls away too much from the pieces for me. Makes it feel a little bit more cluttered. That's why I elect to go with the smaller kind of placard style. Keep it simple. All, mostly Marvel. I have one shelf with some DC and some other things, but mostly Marvel. As you can see, these are not, there's not an omnibus to be found. Those are too big. I don't want to deal with all that. I do prefer collected editions, trade paperbacks, easier to read. And unlike those who do have a bunch of, is it omnibuy? I'm going to say omnibuy, but it might be omnibuses. I have read all of these, every single one of them. Same thing down here with my other Marvel books. I have read everything except the previously on X-Men. I have not finished that. I also got that at New York Comic Con and got it signed by the authors who were also the writers for the X-Men animated series. And then have some more traditional books, including a Goosebumps collection, because, again, love horror, grew up on Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark? So have that. Got this new book. This was for Christmas. I love urban legends and cryptids and conspiracy theories. So I very much look forward to being able to crack into that. And then down here, we have a very small collection of indies and some DC. I didn't read The Walking Dead #1. I watched the TV show instead. And don't just, it was good enough. Not enough to get me to want to read it. And then Invincible, I also won in a contest. I will never read that. I read a lot of it, but again, I have the cartoon, the animated series, excuse me. So I don't need to look at that. I do have a Batarang, whatever. Batman sucks! I'm sure I'll get a thumbs down for that. I know people do that, right? They thumbs down. This is the desk where I don't do anything. I don't stream. I work. So, but I do have the small, was this Kotobukiya? White Suit Magneto. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Keep that on my desk. And then over here, I do have Cap's shield in the corner. This is I think it was from Hasbro, and it is metal, and it is heavy, and it is cool. I got that for one Christmas. I also have this Magneto helmet. This is not the recent Marvel Legends one that was made. This is something that was custom made on Etsy, I think. And I got it for, I want to say, another Christmas present. So real neat. That's just a hat stand I bought for it. It does come off. I do occasionally wear it. So yeah. Now I will show you something that I am way too proud about, but it is truly geeky. So I am going to show you my most recent statue, the Prime One Studio Godzilla. I will not get the diorama. I don't need both, but I have automated it with my Amazon Alexa to start up really neatly when I want to. So, Echo, sound the alarms.
All citizens within a 100-mile radius, please report to a designated safety zone. I repeat, all citizens within a 100-mile radius, please report to a designated safety zone.
Echo, stop. So I know there's some copyright issues that can come up, so I don't want to run into all that stuff. But this is the Prime One Studios Godzilla from the Ultimate Diorama Master line. Oh, goodness. So I got this in the other day, but I forgot that you have to purchase the AC adapter separately. So that came in this afternoon. So this is the first day I've gotten it lit up. And this is the statue that I was saying earlier, kind of made me think maybe I need to branch out a little bit more because, God, this is awesome. I also grew up on Godzilla. I remember owning Godzilla versus Mothra, The Battle for Earth, and wearing the crap out of that VHS. And of course, I really, really loved the new Monsterverse. I loved Godzilla -1. That's a fantastic film, just period, without it even being, regardless of the Godzilla portion of it. It is really a well-told story. But this Monsterverse Godzilla from, is it Legendary Pictures, really encapsulates the Godzilla I like. I love the first film. And then I loved King of the Monsters. Godzilla vs. Kong is when they definitely started becoming a little bit more, I don't want to say superhero-esque, but, trying to make it more of a comic book movie. And I'm not saying that the other ones weren't, but I did feel like there was a little bit more of an artistic take on the first one. And then, of course, that starts going downhill when you start introducing a bunch of other monsters like Ghidorah. But the light up feature on this is incredible. I know I said downstairs that I don't like using light ups. This is one that's going to stay plugged in. Absolutely. It won't always be on, but it is impeccable. The base, heavy. The buildings, pretty heavy. Godzilla, light as a feather. Definitely made out of PVC. But you know what? That's fine. That is okay because it looks great. I do have it on one of my older garage shelves. I used to have some smaller ones. And so I'm using the spotlights because I don't have a piece above it to where I can install an LED strip like I normally do. I will end up moving these lower spotlights up because they're not really doing much good down here. They're not able to get light on as much of the body as I would like. So, or down kind of in the middle. So that one will definitely come up and shine over here. And that one will come up and just shine a little bit better on the side. I was concerned a little bit that this piece would feel small because of the height. I did not measure it myself, but I know that most measurements or what this statue says is that it's about 24 inches high. And I believe in one unboxing video I watched, that collector measured it and it was also about 24 inches high. And so I was looking at, some of my other statues I have, like the Michael Myers and Ghostface and X-23 and all these statues that are around the same height. And I was just thinking, man, Godzilla is going to look really, really small. Yeah, definitely not the case. This statue is big because it's not just the height. Here, I'm going to put the light on for you. Echo turn off spotlights. Get rid of that, the strobing effect from the LEDs. The piece is massive because it is like 32 inches long. And so it's just, there's so much mass in this statue. The smoke effects, fantastic. And the light up really adds to that. The only thing I wish, and I know that if I got the entire diorama with the middle section, I wouldn't have that problem. I wish there was more light coming from the buildings. And I know that in that middle section, it has the giant Prime 1 banner that lights up. That would be really neat. But I will not do that. One, I just don't have the room for it. Two, I don't like Kong. I don't care for Kong. And it's not like I'm wanting representation of that movie. I'm just wanting representation of Godzilla. So, really neat. You see the light coming down. Godzilla looks fantastic. Some good use of color. It's not just the brown and the gray. There's some black in there too. Definitely does not feel just one-toned. And then even when the lights are off, you can see the slight blue transparency in the transparency. I don't know why I said that again. The transparency in the fins. And so it does come off really well, even when the light up is off. I also like that where I have it positioned, because as you come up the stairs, as you're looking forward, this is the first thing you see. And it definitely is a statue that just commands attention. I wanted it since it was first put up for pre-order, but I wasn't going to pay $1,900. That's just too big of a pill to swallow. And I was able to pick this up during the Black Friday sale for half price. So all in all, with shipping, I paid, I think, $1,200 and change for this, rather than the $1,900 before shipping. So big win, big victory. Absolutely love this statue. But yeah, and that's kind of it. I don't know if I'm going to do any other videos. I've thought about it, kind of doing some unboxings when I do get statues in, but I don't get a lot. I don't even get a handful a year. I'm a slow and steady collector. I'll probably get, 3 to 4 statues next year. And that'll be it. I just liked the idea of seeing collectors post collection tours at the end of the year consistently, and it gives them a chance to compare and reflect on how their collection has changed and the new pieces that have come in, pieces that have gone. So I kind of just wanted the opportunity to, track that for myself. So I don't know if you'll ever hear from me again. Who knows? But I'm not going to say all the thumbs ups and subscribe, because shit, I don't know that any of this is going to happen again. There might not be anything to subscribe to.